Calling all nerds. This is More Than Dice, the podcast where we dive deep into the realms of everything nerdy. Whether you're a nerd culture connoisseur, a tabletop titan, a miniature gaming marveler, or just someone who proudly embraces their inner geek, this is the podcast for you. And now here's your hosts, Gonzo, Nerd, and Mizzy.
Welcome to another episode of More Than Dice, episode 311. We're going to be doing some hobbying today and talking about our favorite hobby tools. If you were listening on the pre-ramble, we apologize that we cut it early. The program crashed, and hopefully we did it. We did a reboot of the entire system, did some firmware updates, and got OBS updated. So hopefully it will be all fine and dandy. By the way, I'm Gonzo.
I'm Nerd.
I'm Mizzy.
And today, we're going to go and get to the business. We want to thank Muse on Minis for sponsoring the podcast and hanging out with this. I printed a new server out. Yep. We want to thank Cuttlefish Colors.
That tracks.
For providing us awesome paints for everybody to hang out with and use. We also want to thank Turbo Dork, maker of fine metallic paints and turbo shifting paints. Make sure you go check them out. Who else am I missing? Midnight Heroes. Make sure you go check them out. You'll be doing some more miniature gaming nerd stuff. My printer's freaking out, so I have no clue why.
Which Midnight Heroes needs to give us his new logo so we can update it and show off that snazzy new branding.
Oh yeah, snazzy new branding.
Yeah.
And then do we miss anything else? Anybody? Did I miss anybody? Creature Caster.
Muse. Yep.
Yeah, I was just
don't
gonna say.
I was trying to go down the list. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, Creature Caster. Make sure you go check them out. If you have a 3D printer and do resin printing, make sure you check out their My Tribes, where you can get not only the cool miniatures, but also a 5th edition module to go with it. And you can hang out with that. They're also the makers of Judgment, which you should be seeing some stuff and popping up around then. I think that's about it. Anybody else have anything? Did I miss anybody?
I don't think so. I think you got everybody now.
I think I got everybody. So we're hoping that this thing doesn't crash. This is the first time it started happening. I don't know why it's happened or why it's doing it, but we're going to, hopefully it has solved its issues. Type thing.
Server goblins.
Yeah, server goblins. I mean, OBS isn't...
Hey, don't blame the goblins.
I can blame the goblins if I want to blame the goblins. Because goblins are problems.
There's good goblins and bad goblins. We're blaming the bad goblins. We're the good goblins.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do we have any
Don't overgeneralize.
shout-outs this week, Captain Mizzy?
You know, I saw a couple, but I didn't break them down because I am a terrible person.
I did find it was hilarious. Just on the news front, so we're talking about this. They're trying to remove all the videos of ray gun dancing off of the internet. And I'm like, yeah,
That's not gonna happen.
No, there's no.
Because of course breakdancing has been removed from the lineup of the next Olympics.
Only time breakdancing will be part of the Olympics.
Yes, and it completely failed. And it wasn't just because of her. Let's not do that. I mean, it wasn't because of her, but it is not coming back. But they put out a thing that they're copyright striking anybody that posts her stuff, which means that they're trying to take it down. But that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
There's memes already out there, and someone's already got a Halloween costume that you can buy.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, ooh, that's probably going to be a pretty high Halloween costume.
That tracks.
So, guys, we got a lot of political things coming up, coming in, and we got to, voting coming up, so there's going to be times that people are going to need to have a little bit of extra time for things. So just be nice and remember that. Um, but as always, if you see something, say something. If you can hear something, if you hear something, say something too. And if you can do something about it. But if you can't, find somebody that will, because we got to make sure we look after each other. Because we got trying times ahead of us. So, Nerd, what are you drinking tonight?
Black cherry sparkling ice, because I blame Mizzy for my addiction now.
Okay. Mizzy, what are you drinking tonight?
I accept that. So I was going to drink an orange mango sparkling ice, but I decided I'm just going to drink straight water.
Since I've been
Straight
doing
water.
Yeah.
Straight water. In my very bisexual cup.
I'm also going Mizzy, but my water is not straight. It's non-binary. So I'm also doing water myself. I sweated a shit ton this week removing that tree from my backyard. So I'm trying to rehydrate my cells and get back into, not feeling good because I sunburnt like crap. So guys, please take care of each other. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I even got a little bisexual frog.
Got a bisexual frog on there.
Yes. Frog.
So this last week, Nerd and I were doing some painting and working on models and such, and we're always trying to figure out new things to bring to the podcast and talk about, because we can talk about stuff all the time. And we also talked to, for people that know, there's a friend of ours, V, that was hanging out with us, and she said, asked her she'd like to come back on again, and she would, and she wants to talk about storytelling with RPGs and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that would be a good one. So,
Yeah.
since I don't have to be here for that, y'all have to do it.
Oh no, Mizzy, me and I in the same room. You understand the chaos.
Well, Mizzy said she would run the stream and everything and do everything that's needed.
Uh-huh. I believe that. Shoot.
So I may
so
let
full of shit.
y'all be there, and I'm just gonna hide in the background and push the buttons to let the Chaos Goblins do their thing.
I'm okay with this.
So we may do a 4-person, but V said she would be more than willing to come on, and she wanted to talk about storytelling, and I'm like, that's cool. So we'll figure out a date V can get on. V, if you're listening, blah blah blah. If not, we'll just have to worry about it later.
If he's not listening, then it's fine because we talk all the time.
Yeah.
And
So we'll figure out a time we can
Because-
have V on. A lot of us, before we crash, you'd mentioned Dragon Con, Nerd, that you were gonna Dragonfall.
Yes, I will be at Dragonfall in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin in October.
Okay.
Come find me there. I will most likely be volunteering and or running around with Falling Freely.
Okay.
Nice.
So,
Other
because
than
I am
that,
staying at Fort Falling Freely so that I don't have to pay for a hotel room.
yeah.
Yes, I did crash stuff again. That is, I'm so good at that, Cookie.
I thought we were
just-
blaming the
just
bad
played-
goblins, Nerd.
I just Kool-Aid manned through that server. Oh yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that'll be my one other con for this year, because unfortunately Warfare Weekend is not going to work out the way I had hoped, budget-wise and all of that. But yeah, so
I am big sad.
I am big sad too. But I had to choose one, and I went with the one that's closer to me.
Fine. Hater.
But yeah, Nerd's going to that. We, of course, Mizzy and I will be at Warfare Weekend. Badges go on sale this Friday. Which this Friday is the
23rd.
23rd. Not all events are going to be up, but they got to get something out. They got to get badges going in. So just got to wait for that. I know they're still trying to work with Steamforge Games to get all the PP styled games out there for everybody to play. So just gonna have to take some give them a little bit of slack. It's their first year without me doing stuff, and they're trying to work some new things. If Steamforge Games wouldn't have bought the Privateer Press products, it probably would have. They would probably have all this done, but they're just trying to make sure that they get all their ducks and all the cool stuff ready. I
Look,
know
we
that there's going to be, of course, all Steamforge games, not Guild Ball though. Then there's going to be Judgment, Marvel Crisis Protocol, BattleTech, Conquest. I think is going to be the 5 big stuff. So there'll be plenty of things for that to go around. And then RPGs.
Yep, I was going to say RPGs for sure. And then we've got the open board game library as well.
Yep.
For folks. Painting competitions.
Vendor hall.
Yep. Hobby classes. If you want to get into cosplay, there's a thing for that.
Oh yeah, there's something new this year. There is a cosplay this year, which they'll be making an announcement about it. One of the people is going to be actually teaching how to make cosplay items too, so that'll be a cool thing.
Well, we will see you next year, Midnight Heroes. I'll hold you to it.
I may do Warfare instead of Adepticon next year. We'll see how it goes.
I'll tell you, you definitely want to come to Warfare Weekend next year.
Okay.
You do not want to miss Warfare Weekend next year.
So, Warfare Weekend 2025.
Do not miss Warfare Weekend 2025. As a vendor or as an attendee.
Okay.
So.
We just gonna have to trust that Fey knowledge.
No, nobody's going to ReaperCon this year, Midnight Heroes. They decided to cancel it.
Oh, they did?
No, I'm fucking with Midnight Heroes.
Oh.
No, ReaperCon is not canceled. No, I couldn't go to ReaperCon. I can't find people to hang out with. I can't find anybody to share a hotel room with because I'm not paying for a hotel by myself, and everybody I know are artists, and they get the artist rooms, and I can't share an artist room. Yeah, that's why I said, wait, can't hang out with you. Last time I tried to go, you wouldn't let me. You said no. That's because you had your daughter with you, but that's all. So, other than that, I do want to go to ReaperCon eventually.
Posture check.
Everybody stretch.
I got posture.
Oh, my back just cracked like 3 times when I
So, and actually, I don't have PTO for that yet. Midnight Heroes next year, maybe we can go. Because I'd like to go just to go once. So, let's go ahead and go over to the paint cam. We're going to talk about and such. Paint cam. My printer is like totally freaking out. Don't know why, but it's not happy. So,
out, man.
Well, doing that sort. So, I did paint one of my Crixes. And so
got the foliage on there. It's so cute.
I got to paint the base a little bit. I got a little bit of mist right here, so I need to repaint the base. All that base. But
you gonna start twerking?
He got a badonkadonk, that's for sure, so he could do it. So my battle chicken, of course, I've already magnetized the ones that I'm going to use because my chickens are always most likely going to just be arc nodes. So he's magnetized the head and the back piece. The head's like really, really on there right now. So,
Nice.
I definitely like. So I'm doing the crackle bases with this crackle green base. Type stuff. So, but I'm not doing anything to the base besides that because I just don't want to. I thought about dry brushing it, but I was like, fuck it. But I was going to do some rusting effects, and some of the rust effects I tried didn't work out the way I wanted. So I'm going to try a different rusting effect. And since we're talking about our hobby stuff that we're going to be using, one of the things I like to use for rusting that's really, really simple and really, really easy to use is rusting pigments. Let me move this over.
Hobbies. That's the thing where we get to do stuff that we enjoy and make money, right?
Yes. No, not make money. I stopped
Copious
making
amounts of money, nerd. Copious.
copious. I've tried a couple of other. I do have someone else's pigments. I bought a bunch of pigments from, and they're weathering powders, by the way. And I've got some from Huge Miniatures, but I've got like some browns and some greens and some oranges and stuff. I bought this whole weathering powder mix because they're not expensive, but they're not cheap either. But the one I really like for the rust effect is the Green Stuff World's Natural Earth Pigments, the dark red oxide. And for people that don't know what it is, it's just red powder. You can see it.
Okay.
Red powder. But what I
You
really
don't
like
snort
about
the
it,
powder though.
don't snort the powder, is you get a little bit on your brush. And actually, I need to use a different brush because what I really want this to do is I want to get it in really, really fine details in the sides. Because this model's small, I can't use a big brush. So I just get it right here and start just like tapping it in to like the crevices that I want. Blow it off and you get a little bit of ready rust.
Nice.
Okay.
And it's just, I mean,
Nice.
yeah. And you don't have to use a lot either. It's just a little bit on the brush and you just dab it in until you get the consistency you want. Take a little blow on it and it'll take it'll take the excess off and you'll just leave the area. No, War Budgies, you don't snort the powder.
Metallics only. Interesting.
I have issued you a challenge.
I have all the metallics. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, but this is how I like to do rust on a model.
Okay.
That's just it's quick and easy. I mean, you can already tell it's just already got all the rest look to it. And you can just dab it in until it's where you want it to be, blow it all off, and voila, you've got rusty models.
Bee!
Ivy.
We were just talking about you.
Stuff. All the
Talking
stories.
shit. No, I'm kidding. Yes, we're talking about storytelling and having you come on the podcast and having it just be you, Izzy, and I, and be Chaos Goblins for an hour and a half.
All right, War Budgies, have a good night.
Night, War Budgies.
Bye, War Budgies.
All the chaos. It's gonna be glorious.
Yay.
So much chaos.
We're definitely going to need an outline, otherwise we will not stay on topic.
Us topic? What? We has topic?
But so this is one of my favorite hobby things to use is this rusting pigment. Like I said, it's just a powder and you don't need a lot. So this thing will last you forever.
Forever and ever, ever.
Forever, ever?
Forever, ever. So it's a quick way just to get some cool little rust looks on your model without having to, any special techniques. And like I said, you don't even have to do much to it. And it'll just give it a quick, rusty, crusty look.
Nice.
It lasts forever until you use it all up. And really, you're not going to be using it. I mean, I've had this bottle for years and years, and it's still there.
Still kicking.
Still kicking. So, Nerd, what's one of your favorite hobby things?
I am a huge fan, so I hand prime almost everything unless it's like a certain size, or if it's something that I can't get my physically get a brush into. But I use Liquitex acrylic gesso, black gesso, to prime all of my minis. And I absolutely love this stuff. Like an 8-ounce bottle will last you years. And it's just got like it's normally used for priming canvases. It's got the tiniest bit of grit to it, but for me it helps the paint stick so much better. Like I have never had an issue. Like you don't feel the grit. Like it feels smooth. And it's nice and matte, but like you can pick this up at like I don't know. I would think that they sell it at Michael's.
Your local arts and store.
Yes, your local arts and crafts store. I get it from Dick Blick, which is an art supply company. But yeah, you can get it from Amazon, all sorts of stuff. I think it's like $15-$16 for a bottle, but it will last you for a good long time. And then I use the white, or I use the white, just plain gesso, to dry brush over and do my like zenithal.
Nice.
I also use clear gesso for things like I painted a glow-in-the-dark ball-jointed 3D printed dragon for a friend a while back. So I'll use like the clear gesso on something where I want to retain the color underneath. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Stuff and things.
Stuff
What about
and things.
you, Izzy?
Mar? What about me? Because I am who I am and I'm not as experienced as everybody else, I'm just going to keep it simple. And I love my speed paints.
Why do you like your speed paints?
My speed paints make it easy for me to get stuff on the table. And I don't have to think about where my shading and my highlight is going. I can just slap some paint on and call it a day. But that said, you can also use them in conjunction with other paints. So like if you've got a base paint of, say, how did I do it on here? A blue, like I have on my airship, you can layer some more contrast on there and make it a different color and get your shades and highlights in there.
Huzzah!
What brand do you usually like more?
I've been using the Army Painter ones primarily.
Yeah.
Because they're cheap and affordable.
Do other companies make speed paints?
Yeah. GW does.
GW makes contrast paints, but they're basically the same thing.
Gotcha.
It's the same thing, just different branding type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have one color of GW contrast paints, but that is for a very specific army that I have not worked on yet. Because I'm that person with my pile of potential.
Piles of potential.
I fit right in. It's fine.
Yes, I've started using pile of potential more than pile of shame. It helps me feel less shameful about my piles of stuff.
It's not shame if it's out of sight, out of mind.
Then it just doesn't exist.
But yeah, so like when I'm working on my Brine Bloods, before I got the 2.0 mega set, which is amazing, what I've been doing is layering, is like getting my main color on with the main Army Painter paints that you just use like normal, but then as like a base coat, and then slap some different speed paints on there and just get my shades and highlights in there.
Nice.
Yeah. Gonzo, got something else?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Gonna get this paint off of there. I know it sounds weird, and it sounds funny, but one of my favorite hobby utensils I've been using is these little Turbo Dork um, s- silicone
stir
stir
sticks.
sticks.
The stir sticks. Yes, I've been using the crap out of those too.
Yes.
I mean, they're just a simple little device. It's just a silicone. It's got a hard rod inside the silicone, but the tips are flexible. And for like airbrushing or mixing paints outside of a palette, this is great. It's got a flat side which I can use for texturing on bases, and also the fine point when I want to get better detail. But I've been using this a lot to mix paints outside of my wet palette.
Mm-hmm.
And so
it's also really helpful for your paint and your P3 paints pots.
oh yeah, for stirring up your P3 paints if you don't have a mixer.
Stirring them up, or if you're just trying to get a whole bunch out at all at once, just stick that stick in there and call it done.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was really when they sent us those, I was like, okay, cool, and I was like, I put it over there and left it there, and then I was like, oh, I'm actually going to use these a lot more than I thought I was going to, because it's very, very handy for just simple things. So, but I've enjoyed them a lot more than I thought I would. So, Nerd?
I'm looking around my desk and I'm like, what? Let's see. I'm gonna go with the Game Envy exemplar palette.
I will tell you.
What?
That is the best wet palette I've ever owned.
Same. I've had 3 different kinds of wet palettes. I started out with like the Masters one that you can get. It's one that just clips together, but no, I picked up the exemplar palette at Adepticon last year. I've got one to send to Mizzy. And
I have 2. Don't send me one. I've got the wet palette.
Okay. I had a set. Okay, then I don't need to send that set aside. Okay, I guess I can give that one away too.
Yeah. I've got a green one and a purple one because I needed the purple one.
I had a pile of stuff I was going to send you. Maybe was it just the copper corners?
Yes. I do need the corners.
Then that makes it easy. Then yeah, I'll have another set of stuff to give away.
Yay!
Played the last one. But yeah, no, I love it. It seals. It doesn't leak. It's got the copper corners that you can get to go with it, so that so you can help prevent mold, and it holds down your paper. The paper itself is really, really nice, and the newer paper is pretty much reusable. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, and also what I really like is the rubber palette that goes in the exemplar that's made by Turbo Dork, by the way.
Oh, yes.
The silicone palettes.
I use the one that it comes with and the silicone Turbo Dork one, so I use all the dry palettes.
I am balling with the OG palettes.
Oh, the really thick, what
Yeah.
I was told, like a sex toy palette.
Yes.
What?
when they were looking about doing things. So the old ones are completely solid silicone, and the new ones are kind of hollowed out. And they were like, "Yeah, we're making this one. It's less like a sex toy." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I only have the hollowed ones because the thicker one. You held that up, and I'm like, you could knock somebody out with that thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could.
It is a solid hunk of silicone.
Awesome.
Rubbered silicone.
Giggity.
But that means that I'm not gonna accidentally knock it out of the way. It's gonna stay there.
Yeah, I've got
I'm
the
clumsy.
2 little ones. I've got the 2 half ones that Gonzo had sent me previously, and then Turbo Dork sent me one of the. Oh no, I got the gift card and ended up buying one of the full size ones to fit in my palette.
Nice.
So yes. Mizzy, what about you?
This Game Envy light is a game changer. Okay.
Yes. Thank you,
Yes.
Gonzo, for those.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've been pimping a lot of Game Envy stuff, by the way, and
Yeah.
there's a reason. And it's not. They're not even sponsoring the channel. At
No.
all.
They
They
just
don't
got good
sponsor.
shit.
accessories. Yeah, their accessories are awesome.
I will tell you, the Game Envy light. Not only is it one of the best lights on the market, for like moving, color, brightness, it is actually one of the cheapest and best overall. I mean, this thing is solid when it
Yeah.
comes to getting it. It's very solidly constructed. By the way, we're talking about the Lucent Game Envy creator lights.
Yes.
They sold out at Adepticon in like no time flat. By the way,
That's why
Yeah.
I was impressed that you got me one.
yeah. Well, I have my things.
You
And
got
it-
faith powers.
I got Fey powers. But it 100% this light, it's affordable. It's got different modes. It's very, very bright, very easily to manipulate and put it in the directions you want. And I mean, Mizzy was using just like desk lamps that I'd given to her, and then she got that. And what's the difference in that, Mizzy?
Everything. Okay, so hold on. This is just my lights that I was using. This is with my light, my Game Envy light. Here, and
Oh.
I can see so much.
I
Um,
can
I'm
tell what color
struggling.
it is.
Like, I did not realize how much my eyes were straining under just the regular lights.
I just had a little like magnifier ring light before, and I didn't realize how poor my lighting was until I was adjusting my cameras for the Lucent, and I was just like,
holy shit.
Mind
Whoa.
blown.
yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how well these lights are and how well they're made and everything, because they're just extremely freaking good.
They
All right, guys, what do you got next?
Let's see. Oh, this is something you can't buy, but
Oh.
you can buy something. You can buy something similar to it. So originally, I bought the Artist Opus dry palette. So you can dry brush on that. The problem is with it, this thing's huge, and I should probably buy a smaller one. But I mean,
Holy buckets, that's like the size of my Ouija board.
yeah, this
No.
thing's huge, and it's really good. Don't get me wrong, and I like the textured side, but it's too big for me to use at my desk when I want to dry brush to get the dry brush off. So I 3D printed one in
I
resin.
was looking at the Creature Caster ones too.
Oh, I haven't seen
They
the
have
Creature
the, like
Caster ones.
4x6. Yeah,
I
they had,
use it. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, Creature Caster had some, or Cuttlefish, I guess, had some at Adepticon
Oh.
this year.
Nice.
I was really tempted to pick one up, but I didn't have the funds for it at the time. But yeah, I think they were like 4x6, about the same size as what you've got there.
Yeah, because I just 3D printed this one. This one I mean, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but
It's just different textures.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
And the thing is I still use like a paper towel when I want to really, really, really like a metallic dry brushing. But for overall painting, I use this little small ones instead.
I use
So,
my gloves.
well, there's people who do that too.
Hey, it works.
Yeah.
Whatever works. But that was the one thing. Just in a quick dry brush
Mhm.
type thing has been really, really good. So, nerd.
I'm gonna talk about one that not everybody is a big fan of for one specific reason, but I freaking love my paint puck, and I'm showing this as an example because the brush storage has been like a game changer for me because I can store all of my brushes tip down so that they drain and dry properly. The downside is the little bumps and stuff in the bottom for cleaning your brush can mess up your bristles.
Yes.
So you just got to be careful with that and swish more than scrub. But it's compact. It comes apart, so you can just like put it together and stick it in your bag if you're traveling with it. But the ability to store my brushes upside down while I'm painting and have them, like, I put them in order by size along around it, and so I can just grab and go. And I enjoy it. I have 2 of them because I bought one for myself and then found out my roommate bought me one for Christmas, so now I have 2.
So you keep one on your desk and then you keep one for travel.
I have one specifically for metallics and one for everything else.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Meze?
I am gonna stick with some Game Envy stuff because I am a big fan of their brushes. Actually,
That's what I've been using as well.
that
Like-
they've got some really solid brushes. I am a heathen and I can use them and not absolutely destroy them.
I have destroyed the tips on mine a little bit. They're all slightly curved. That is one of the downsides to the paint puck, is it will curve when you're switching it around. But like, I can still work with the fact that like they hold up well enough that I can still work with it, even if it's got the tip is slightly curved.
Yes. Have you also tried their dry brushes?
Yes.
I am also a big fan of their dry brushes. I
Yes.
cannot afford Artist Opus dry brushes.
I
just
have
can't.
one Artist Opus dry brush that I bought.
I have-
last year.
I have a tiny Artist Opus brush that I think Gonzo might have got in a swag bag that he gave to me.
I did.
Yeah,
I did get that in a swag bag.
I
So,
like
That is this
Yeah.
tiny little thing is the only Artist Opus brush that I will ever own, most likely
Yeah.
because I po. But I
Yeah.
am a big fan of their dry brushes. So
Yeah.
they got 3 sizes.
and
Small,
they're
medium,
round. They're
large.
not flat like the
Yeah.
Citadel ones.
They're really nice. I like them.
Mhm.
So if
I
you
have
need
not. I have not tried their Kolinsky Sable brushes yet. I haven't. I have them. I just have not opened them.
I have not tried those either. But, so something to look forward to.
Yee.
Gonzo?
Gonzo.
Because that covered 2.
So we're gonna go back to Game Envy again, and their collapsible water cups are really good.
I finally got my hands on one of them.
I have 2 of them, and their collapsible water cups are really, really good. They have a little bit of texture on the bottom of them, so you know if you wanted to scrub, you could get something off of the bottom of on the bottom. So those pucks that you were talking about.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I like those a lot. Those have been really good. One, they're plastic, they're collapsible, so you don't have to worry about anything, and you can put them where you need them, and they're just solid. They do what I want them to do, and they're low profile, so they don't they collapsible, and they can funnel out, so they've got good stuff to them, and they hold a lot of water, and I don't have to worry about damaging anything but the plastic, and I can scrub it out if I need to, but not an
And
issue.
plastic
whatsoever.
is very easy to take care of.
Yes.
So nerd.
We're gonna continue on the Game Envy train and talk about their hobby holder.
This channel is not sponsored by Game Envy, but we
No, it
lose
is
a lot of
not.
their shit. I want people to know that we are not sponsored by Game Envy,
Definitely not sponsored.
but
Def-
this is definitely we use a lot of
But
their
we
products.
love their shit.
And plus the
yeah,
company
not
is really,
sponsored
really nice.
Yet, exactly.
Yes.
B. I love that they come with a little bit of blue tack, because blue tack is great. I like the fact that it is basically just like a little bottle cap, so you can stick your blue tack when you're not using it back inside the hobby handle. It comes with a couple of different sizes of the little I don't know, what do you call this? A guard, a brace?
Yeah, the finger guard, finger brace.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Also the fact that this is a smooth surface, and so it's not textured, and it's a lot easier to get the blue tack and stuff off.
Yeah. And they're very
Uh,
light. That's the one good thing about
Yes.
them. They're very
And
light.
yeah. And it's collapsible. You can take this apart, put it in a bag, and take it with you. It's
Solid.
good stuff.
Yeah, I use they're my go-to hobby holder just because one, they're cheap. Two, the caps. If you buy a bag of caps, so you could just take the caps on and off, because that's what I'm doing for most of my stuff right now. Is
Mhm.
I'm taking all my cricks and putting them on the caps, and then all I do is screw the cap on, screw the cap off.
Yeah, I have 4 different kinds of hobby holders. This one's my favorite. No, I take that back. I have 5 because I technically have a Citadel one somewhere.
No, I do not have a Citadel one.
I think I do. I think I got one of the XL ones a while back because it was the only size that they had at the store. And I was working with a lot of 75mm stuff, so. But yeah, for smaller projects, I really like the Game Envy handle. And the other fun thing about Game Envy, they have a variety of colors that things come in. So you can either get a variety of colors, or you can like complement your entire set as like one color, whatever you want to do.
You do what you want.
I do what I want.
I'll do what I want.
I think everything I have is purple and green, which tracks.
Yeah.
Mizzy?
You know, super glue makes a difference, and not all super glue is equal. So I prefer to use the Loctite Super Glue Professional Liquid. It holds better, it dries a little bit quicker, and the less amount of zip kicker that I have to smell, the better. That being said, zip kicker is also a useful tool. I just hate smelling it.
Yeah, zip kicker you gotta be careful with, but there's a reason why we all use it.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
It does make your glue brittle, but you have to be careful with it. But overall,
do not get glue on your hands and then spray zip kicker and have it come in contact with your skin. It will give you a chemical burn.
Yes, it will.
And they hurt. It hurts.
Yes.
A lot.
It burns.
More so than stabbing yourself with an X-Acto.
It tastes like burning. Gonzo?
I know we were talked about it, but I do use the Artist Opus dry brushes. I do have a set of them, and I like them a lot. But I am very, very careful with them, and I make sure I take extra careful with them because they are expensive dry brushes. But they are very, very good dry brushes. I like them a lot. But they are a very expensive set. I don't ever have to worry about any other, because I have tried some other, I would say off brands. Like this is an off brand of dry brush, this Foxbite dry brush, and it just doesn't compare to it. So I use the Artist Opus dry brushes a lot. So
Not fair. If
but
you
like
got the money, go for it.
Oh yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna stop you.
Yeah.
Applaud you.
So.
So I'm going to talk about an unconventional hobby product.
Oh.
And this is what I use for cleaning my dry brushes when paint gets dried in there, and you don't want to get water in your dry brushes. Hand sanitizer will melt the paint right out of your brush without making it brittle. You just put some on a paper towel and just kind of rub it back and forth until the paint comes out, and let it dry.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's a tip I learned from Mike Moans.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty common one that people are using now, because most hand sanitizer, of course, has alcohol in it, but it's such a low volume of alcohol that it doesn't do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I just use like the moisturizing original Germex. I just get little, like the travel bottles from Target or whatever, and like that will last me a long while. So like,
Oh.
yeah, if I've got stubborn paint and I don't want to be scrubbing my brushes with the little paint puck thing, or in this case, my dry brushes get paint caked up in them. Yeah, it works. It works wonders. So, yeah.
Mizzy?
Paint racks.
Mm.
It's a very obvious one, I feel like. You have all this paint, but you don't know where to put it. Gonzo came up, did his Gonzo things and found this 3D printable rack that I absolutely love. I get to, organize all my paints in a certain way. And it's great.
The paint rack I found on Thingiverse, you look up Citadel paint rack and it comes up. And pretty much what it is, it's just I use it for all my paints because it'll fit any size paint. And it all sits there comfortably. I use, I have Scale 75, Cuttlefish Colors, Duncan Two Roads, and Turbo Dork as my paints. And you can print them in like a stack of like 5 across and 5 high, and they're tiered. Yep. Or you can print like singles or doubles or whatever. They've got whoever, I can't remember who did it, but I 100% like this person that made this because it makes it so much easier and so much better to stack the paints. Mm-hmm. So I really like these paint racks, and they're easy to 3D print too. So just
nice. They're great.
They're really, really good. I guess it's my turn. Maybe my screen so I can look back here. Man, I've been using so many of like Game Envy stuff that I just use it. Oh, I know what's weird, but people you don't use a lot of. Hold on. Let me find it. I'm going to grab a piece of it. So I know people like to use a lot of corkboard.
Oh, mm-hmm. I love that stuff.
But this corkboard I like a lot more. One, it doesn't break off. And what's funny is this has a charred smell to it, so it's got like a smoky smell to it. And this is not typical it's typical corkboard. Because when you break it off, it doesn't come off in flat chunks. It comes out in like rock. So it doesn't look like corkboard. I think I got these at like Michael's or something like that. No, I got it on Amazon. But it's
James
just
Wappel, our wonderful Wappelius.
Yep.
I took his basing class at Adepticon a couple years back, and I got some for my supply, and that's what I've used on my Warcasters.
Yeah,
War Machine.
And the good thing about this stuff is that when you break it off, it doesn't look like corkboard because it's got these hole textures. It's got little holy textures in it, and it's a little bit darker. And like I said, when you break a piece off, it doesn't break off like corkboard. It breaks off like rocks, and so it's really, really good for doing corkboard rock textures. Best way to put it.
Oh, the texture.
So, Nerd, back to you.
I've got one that helps people prevent injuries.
Okay.
Paint vortexers.
Yes.
Are you tired of shaking your paints? Are you tired of your arm hurting from shaking all those paints?
What if that's how I get a workout?
But repetitive stress injuries, come on. It is a thing. Do not hurt yourself, please. But paint vortexers, it more consistently mixes your paints. And if you've got one that's particularly stubborn, or ones like I got that are really old, use the vortexer to help mix them. Like a few seconds on a vortexer, like I think I average. Hitting my microphone. I think I average like 10 to 15 seconds per paint, and that usually mixes them up plenty well. Mine can be a little loud. I threw down and got like the $100 one, but you can get like, you can spend like $30-$40 on Amazon. Just look up like a lab or tattoo paint vortexer.
Yeah, I've got one,
Okay.
and that one, it saves you time. That's pretty
Yeah.
much just what it does. It saves
It
you
saves
time.
you time and prevents repetitive stress injuries.
Yeah. That way you're just not slinging your arm around type thing. And it's been really good. The one I got is no longer made, but you can find them everywhere.
Yeah, I've got the Lab Genius one. But unfortunately it got very loud very quickly. So it does not sound like a vortexer on stream when people cannot see it.
I couldn't imagine what it would sound like at all.
There it goes. Yeah. The casing came loose and is quite loud. Power tools, yo. Missy.
Let me see. What do I got?
Dead air
Paint
time.
racks.
We already went for paint racks.
Brush. No. Paint brush racks. Like so.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. That was at
Your
Lazy
things.
Dogs, wasn't
Brush racks.
Yeah.
Brush racks.
So this is a rack that I got from Warfare Weekend from our sponsors, Lazy Dog Hobby Studio. Really easy to put together. Super simple. Really like it. I can fit all my brushes, and it's got different hole sizes for the different brush sizes. So, yeah, good times. And it just sits right here in front of me with all my stuff. And I can also fit like my X-Acto knives and other stuff. Gonzo?
Man, we're coming down. Oh, one of my favorite. So I know we all like, using thinning mediums and stuff like that because you're supposed to thin your paints, even if you have them, whatever. The best thinning medium I have ever used, and I'm glad they sold it in a big bottle, was Cuttlefish Colors Merlin's Magic Medium. This has been the best thinner and medium I have ever used. They can sell it in a big
Yes.
bottle, and I've been using it for a couple of years. And this thing for thinning paints is great. Buy the big bottle, keep it, shake it up every so often, but highly, highly recommend this as your good, acrylic paint thinner. And it's been really good. This thing, I'm glad they sold it in a big bottle because a lot of people have been, they were like, I need this, and they sold it in a big bottle, and they're just like, best thinning medium I've ever used.
Nice. Nerd?
I'm looking around thinking, I'm just like, what else do I use? So adhesives that I use. Since I work a lot with resin and not plastic, I use the Bob Smith Industries Instacure. And if it's a little bit tackier. It can take a little bit to set, but you can get the Instacure or the Instaset spray to go with it that will instantly set it. It's a nice gap filling medium as well that can be sanded. It dries relatively clear, but yeah, it is the recommended adhesive for resin.
Ooh.
And yeah, this I've not had to replace this bottle yet.
Very
in
nice.
2 years. So
I like
and
it.
if the cap gets or the nozzle gets plugged, you can get replacement ones on Amazon for it.
Ooh. That is very
So-
handy.
Yes, because I had to keep cutting mine down, and then I was also using pliers to try and crank the lid off, and you could get replacement lids and replacement nozzles.
That is fantastic and something that
Yeah.
I need in my life.
Yes.
For sure. Those speaking of like assembling things, a good set of files.
Yes.
I use the Army Painter files, so they've got the different shapes on it. You got like a triangle curve thing, smooth cylindrical, and then of course the flat one. It's really good. Uh, Helpful to get in the nooks and crannies and get the mold lines and your sprue bits left over out of the way.
Yeah, and also a good clipper.
Yes.
Yes.
You don't know how hard it is or how much of a pain in the butt is until you get a good clipper, and you're just like, wow, this thing is, I'm like, things aren't causing problems. They're not looking horrible. So, I mean, there's plenty, just a good set of clippers and a good X-Acto knife will change up everything on there. Change your hobby time.
Remember to replace your X-Acto knives.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm just kind of cleaning up, but we only got a few minutes left in the hobbying. So I'm going through the rust here, and I'm kind of cleaning up the rust. And you're like, you put the rest on there. It goes, the cool thing about using the pigments, until you seal it, you just use water and you can, get it.
You want.
Yeah, you can clean it up and move it out of the spots that you don't want, or if you put it on there too thick or whatever. So, I mean, that's another reason why I like these dry pigments.
Cool.
So,
very nice.
So I was like, it's got a little too much rust on there because I kind of overtaken the picture. So I'm like, I'm just going to use a little bit of water and clean up some of the rust marks.
There are no accidents, just happy. No. There's no mistakes, only happy accidents.
So.
Words. I can words.
You can word?
I can word. I can do the words. Can nerd do the words?
Words are hard.
Yes.
You talk pretty one day. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can talk about. Brush cleaner. The Masters brush cleaner and preserver. It just comes in a tub like this. It's a nice solid soap. Get your brush wet, kind of just move it around on the soap, clean it, and it's a good way to help clean and preserve your brushes.
Your brushes will last longer if you take care of them.
Yes.
That's a thing.
So, do I look properly rusty?
So rusty.
Also, depending on what you're working on, a good hand drill, like almost like a jeweler's drill, for pinning. If you are having to pin models or anything like that, having a little drill to drill holes in your models can't hurt either.
So talking about that, I haven't had a chance to use it because I haven't had a chance. I needed it, but I got tired of using the hand cranking drill, that we're all used to. So I went and bought this little cordless one. I think it was only like $25 or whatever, but it's like a wireless Dremel. I mean, Dremel is expensive. They make good stuff, so don't get me wrong, but it has like a light on it.
I have a wireless Dremel.
Yeah. But I bought this one, and of course comes with, all the bits and everything you need. But this has been really good because it just, just drills what you need and not have to worry about it. And it's wireless, which I think is what the best part of the whole thing is, because I hate having a cord. And it charges by USB port, so it's not like it's a big deal.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's always been really good. I really can't think of much of anything besides those. I mean, we hit on a lot of them, and we want to thank Game Envy. I know Game Envy kind of monopolized our entire discussion, which is okay because they make good
They
products.
also make a ton of products.
Yeah, they make a ton of good products too.
Yeah.
I mean, hobby holders, lights, cups, wet palette, you name it. Those guys, big shout out to them for making some of our top products that we like to use.
Huzzah.
Type thing. So I'm going to switch it over to
They do the good stuffs.
Media section.
Give me a second. Boom. I'll move my camera over.
Woo! We're going on an adventure.
Big old mess of hair. But so media section time. I know Nerd said she had at least 5 things, and Mizzy said she had 7, and I only have 2, so should be pretty easy one going on.
Sure.
Right.
So I'll go with the first one. And actually Mizzy can jump in on this too. So Thursday night we hang out and do dinner at Mizzy's place, and there was a TV show I wanted to watch, and I thought it'd be cool for all of us to watch it because it was a cartoon, and it's on Apple Plus, Apple TV, and it's called Wondla, Wondla, and it's based off of a children's book type stuff. The story is it's about a human that goes underground because we destroyed the planet, and it's the human coming out to explore the world. Animation is great. No issue with the animation. No, issues with, style preferences or whatever. Everything is good with it, but it is completely adorable.
Yes.
Like beyond belief, adorable, good cartoon.
There's a big floofy creature that you just want to cuddle so hard. Okay, like yes. Yes.
It kind of reminds me of Appa from The Last Airbender. Very much.
Yeah.
Very much
Yeah.
an Appa from The Last Airbender.
Okay.
But it can talk.
We don't know the time frame, but it's like massively in the future. That humans haven't been around, that they're actually a species that are like whispered about by the inhabitants of the planet now. So we don't know how long that these people have been underground, but this is what's going on. But it was actually pretty good. We're only about 4 episodes in.
Yeah.
And they're only about 25 minutes, so they've been pretty good. I've liked them a lot. I'll give a final rating once we watch it. I think it's going to just be, a limited series, one and done season type thing. So I've enjoyed it. Mizzy?
We got done watching the first episode, and I looked over to you, and I was like, "Where did you find this?" Because I love it so much.
I've not heard of it.
Nobody has. That's the reason.
No.
It's not been.
Sleeper hit. Okay.
Yeah, it is a sleeper hit. I've enjoyed it a lot. So,
I'm here for it.
Nerd, what's your
definitely-
first one? I'm sorry, Mizzy.
It's okay.
No, it's okay.
Definitely not mad
I
at it.
didn't watch anything this week that was new. I rewatched a lot of stuff. But I've been binging audiobooks, and I just finished one by John Scalzi called Red Shirts, and it is a very self-aware pseudo parody of like old school Star Trek, where the low-ranking members of the starship Intrepid become self-aware of how many of them die in horrible ways every time that they have an away mission, and how the ranking officers always seem to survive. And there's a bit of a twist, and it's fun, it's silly, it makes you laugh. I enjoy it. I'm actually going to be reading another one of his books coming up called Starter Villain for a book club that I'm joining. But yeah, it was. I had heard of this book years ago and finally got a copy out of the library and loved it. So, let's see. I'll give it like. It's not the best writing in the world. It's fun, so I'm going to give it like a 1.5.
Okay.
Cool.
Mizzy?
I decided that I wanted to watch The Greatest Showman because I've heard the songs, well, at least some of them, but I never actually watched it. And Deadpool and Wolverine got me in a Hugh Jackman mood because Hugh Jackman. So it was okay. The music was probably the best part. P.T. Barnum is kind of a jerk.
Oh, yeah.
He's a big jerk.
Yeah, they made him look real good in that movie
Yeah, they
compared to how he actually is.
Yeah, that they definitely fictionalized a lot of that.
A little bit.
But a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I really liked Zac Efron and Zendaya's characters.
Mhm.
That was a good storyline. Got me in my feels, as it do, because sappy love stories, girl things. But I really enjoyed the music the most. So, but story wise, it was just okay. So 2.5, meh. But music was banging, so that saved it.
Gonzo?
I am going to bust some people's bubbles and shit on a movie because this thing was horrible.
What do?
So HBO Max had it on this Friday, which was the new Mad Max Furiosa.
I knew that's what
Oop.
you were gonna say.
Ooh.
Man, does this movie suck balls. I mean, this movie, it is 2.5 hours long. And I'm watching it and I'm like an hour in and I'm like, shit, we haven't gone anywhere in this movie at all. Nowhere. There hasn't been, don't get me wrong. Mad Max Fury Road, Furiosa, all that stuff, great. I love that. That one was great. And awesome. And I was like, ooh, they're going to make a Furiosa. We'll learn her backstory, get to know her, cool. Looking forward to it. So much was shot on green screen. There was so much green screen on this, it wasn't even funny. Like they did green screen where this guy was in the truck and they green screened the window in the truck. I was like, really? You could have just shot it and left it alone. We know who the character is. Didn't look like it was not a lot filmed on set, filmed on location. It was a lot of sets, except
The special effects weren't even that good.
No, the special effects were not good. They didn't explain things as they were happening. I mean, I had someone that was watching it and they're like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "Fuck if I know." I had to look it up. And I mean, they did the speed up. I know that was like a thing in the original Mad Max where they sped up the film really quickly, but they did it in the most worst times. And then they did some slowdowns, slow-mos, and at the worst time. And I'm going to spoil this. The reason why Furiosa is Furiosa in this, and the way that it starts off, she's the one that starts the whole problem and all these people dying. It's her fault. If she would have just left everything alone and walked away like she was supposed to, none of this shit would have happened. But it was the worst thing to even get started for her to get involved with. It was like her character sitting there like, be quiet. Don't do anything. Don't say anything. Okay. But what does she do? She gets off and goes cause fucking trouble and gets caught, and she starts the whole thing. I was like, if she would have followed her own guidance of sitting still and being quiet, I mean, it's not like they went after her. They didn't even know she was there until she fucked up and found out. And I'm like, but there was like one or two scenes that were actually fun to watch. The acting was bad. I mean, it was not even entertaining, the least. It was horrible. It's one of the worst movies I've seen all year.
Can we talk about the horrible prosthetics that is Chris Hemsworth's nose?
Oh my god, that nose is okay. His accent was bad to begin with. They made him do. The prosthetic nose was so bad, it was laughable. It was a caricature more than anything than it was. It was a caricature. That Missy's now going to go look it up.
Yeah, no, it's I the trailers, like I was just like, what the fuck's wrong with his nose?
I mean, you could have made a good, because that's what it was. It's a Mad Max. All you had to do is show this character have something very bad happen to him, and they go get revenge, and that's it. That's all you could have done. But they tried to add too much into the world history. They tried to do it, and the movie was broken into chapters. They were like, chapter 1, so and so, chapter 2, so and so, chapter 3, so and so. Don't do that shit. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Just let
Why
the
did
movie
they
flow.
have to give him a nose?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
It added nothing to the character.
No.
Absolutely.
It's so
It-
bad.
Yeah, it's a bad no. It's a bad prosthetics.
It's so bad.
But I mean, the adding these little chapter things to it was bad. It was horrible. You don't need to do that. Just let the movie play. Just let it go. We don't care. Or divide the movie up into more than one. But this could have been an hour and a half to 2 hours, and been just a story about why she's the way she is, how she's done it, and what ass kicking she does, and becoming a badass. But I mean, it wasn't. There was redundancy all through. There was so much crap in this that there was not needed to be in here. This movie was horrible. A few good scenes, sure. A few good fight scenes, sure. But I mean, there was a scene where Chris Hemsworth is just sitting there, staring, and then it changes to night. Okay, we're done. And I'm like, really? And it didn't even make a sense. It was like, there was one time it was dark, and they were doing things, and it was automatically sunrise, and I'm like, what happened to this entire night? They didn't ride the entire. I was like, this just does not make sense at all. This movie is horrible.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it got such a shitty rating on everywhere. It was bad. You could have done an awesome movie about Furiosa. Just something bad happened to her. She's going to get revenge, and here's the Mad Max universe, and just let her be a badass. No, They didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. And what's funny is the character playing Furiosa, she says a few things at the beginning of the movie and then says nothing until almost the final chapter of the movie.
It's all about that intense stare with those big eyes.
Yeah. And I was like, and that was it. I was like, she maybe had to memorize 20 lines for the entire movie, and that was it. And I mean, these are the worst bad guys I've ever seen. Chris Hemsworth's character has got Furiosa tied to the back of a car and is sitting there, and he doesn't see her run away in a desert. I'm like, how did you not see her go?
No perception.
None.
Not
Failed
one
perception
perception.
check.
Critical failure type thing. But the other people that were there circling this whole thing, that were driving around his truck, never saw her run off.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just bad. This movie gets this is like a 4, like 3.5 to 4. Space Herpes. It's bad. It is a waste of time. It did not need to be 2.5 hours. It had no story. It had nothing going for it. I was like very, very disappointed in this. So, Ixnay on Furioso A. Nerd.
I am about 2/3 of the way through a book by Aaron Morgenstern called The Night Circus. It's set in Victorian times and focuses on illusionists, and it pits a young man and a young woman against each other in some unknown competition where they have to constantly one up each other by manipulating this traveling circus that only happens at night. And I'm enjoying it so far. It's well written. It's not super drawn out. The characters are interesting. I'm excited to see where it goes, but so far I'm giving it like a half. I would consider it, I think it's a young adult novel. But yeah, I like it. Mizzy?
Cool. I did not watch a whole lot because, again, I've been playing copious amounts of Baldur's Gate. But I am going to talk about how my experience in Baldur's Gate made me rage quit and lose an hour and a half of progress. So
I heard about this.
that's because you got the ranty part of it. So I
Story time.
normally what I do is I touch everything, and I was touching everything, but then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna impulsively go ahead and talk to this one character, not realizing that talking to that one character triggered a chain of events that I could not back out of. And so before I had a chance to fix Karlach's heart with David, I ended up killing him. I cried. I lost my shit because my one goal for this entire game was romance Karlach. Do you understand? I had
We
one
all want a
goal.
ragey girlfriend.
I needed my ragey girlfriend, okay? So I was like, you know what? I cannot go down this path. So I restarted I lost an hour and a half progress, restarted, did not talk to that bitch at all, and found my way without her. And I fixed Karlach's heart. So I was able to have my fun times. And
I'm proud of you.
I'm so happy. So yeah. Gonzo.
So I've been watching, for you don't know, the new season of Alone came on a few weeks ago. I've been watching that, and for people who don't know what Alone is, it's on the History Channel. They take a group of people and just drop them off in the woods somewhere and say, survive. Here's a satellite phone. Carry it with you at all times. When you're ready to tap out, call us and we'll come and get you. And so it's very interesting to watch. I know I've talked about it a couple of times and on the podcast and a few episodes back, because they're at the Arctic Circle and it's just starting to turn winter time in the show. But one thing I've watched, this guy took down a full bull moose with a bow and arrow. Fucker hit a moose with an arrow, tracked it down, grabbed it, killed it, ate it, blah 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 type thing. That still shows, that's. I mean, the thing is this guy, sure, it's for a show. And, moose didn't have to die, but, I mean, he at least ate it and whatever needed and, whatever left, he left for that other animals. It could have been killed by a bear for all we know. But they keep on, this one guy on this show, he keeps on trying to store food. And he's like, I've got this place where I'm going to store food in this thing, and I'm going to put rocks all over it. And every time he comes back, something's taking his food. So this guy's like, he keeps on trying to do it, but his food keeps on getting stolen. And so it sucks for him, and I get it. This one guy had stored fish in his hut that he built, and he had some fish. He's like, oh, it's just a little bit of dirt. And so he, wiping it off and cooking it and eating it. And he found out that mice had been shitting inside of the fish, and he was actually eating mice poop.
Oop.
Which is bad. You can get sick, you can die from it. So, he's like, hopefully I didn't eat a lot of it. But I mean, it's all this stuff that, you don't think about. All these wild animals are eating his food that they're hiding up. I think they're only down to like 3 contestants. So we're probably getting, 1 or 2 more episodes before the season finale ends. But I mean, it's very interesting to see. Some people have been pulled for medical reasons because they have to go out and check them out, make sure that, they're healthy enough. One guy, I guess he hadn't crapped in like 15 days. And so they were like, yeah, you're pretty compacted. He's like, yeah, I know. Can we give it a day or so? And they're like, no, we're pulling you for medical reasons. Some person had to come out because they were having major kidney pains. And so they're like, yeah. She actually called out. She was like, I'm going to have to tap. I'm having way too much pain type stuff. And it's good. You should. There's people that have tapped out because they're just too lonely and they miss their family, that's something,
That's valid.
Very
That's
valid.
Totally valid.
It's been very interesting to watch. I've enjoyed it. I like it a lot. This one guy was like, I knew it was going to happen. He picked up this fish and he's holding the camera like, I got a fish, and the fish drops and goes right back into the river. And he's like, motherfucker. I'm like, as soon as you pull the fish up, you kill it right then and there, or it's going to go back in the water because you knew it was going to happen. It was just like, it was going to happen. But it's interesting to see them do things and make things and, keep themselves busy. It's starting to be winter, so the lakes and rivers are freezing over. And so this is going to be the tough time that people are just going to have to. I know I was watching one season, and in the middle of the night, the guy's hut caught on fire. So he's like, I'm out. I'm like, and it was during the snow, and his entire domicile he was living in caught on fire, and he got out and he was safe. And he was like, "Hey, you got to come and get me, guys." I'm like, "I have to tap out."
Well, shit.
Yeah, type thing. But it's very interesting. It's nice and fun. I like it. It's a good show. I mean, I'm not going to rate it or anything because it's it's just there. But
Yeah.
Mizzy?
Thought it was Nerd's turn.
Oh, nerd.
Yeah.
Fine.
Gonzo?
Fine, it is my turn.
I had two things. Unless, like, I can talk about Drag Race and as always, and just be like, Drag Race is awesome. It's full of drama, but I love the costumes and the, like, I don't know. I could care less about the like behind the scenes drama, but like for me, it's all about the costumes and the routines and stuff that they do. Like,
It's good stuff.
it is good stuff, and it's just
Drag Race is like Golden Girls. You gotta have it in your life. The thing.
Yeah, I started watching the newest season, which is Drag Race World, and so they got drag queens from all over the world, and so that started up today or this week.
What's that on again? Paramount. Yeah, I'll have to start that up here soon. That's one I normally watch with my roommate, but she's gonna be gone next week, so we shall see when we have time to watch it.
Yeah. Did you ever finish We're Here?
No, I still need to catch up on that too. That's one that I can only take in small doses because of the emotional impact.
Yes, it is.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, the emotional, like, when I cry every episode, I'm like, I don't need to relive Glee. This is a whole other level of emotional damage. I can only take so much at a time.
Yeah. I think I'm behind on the latest season. But yeah. Same nerd, same. I did start watching a new show that I've been interested in for a while. I only got through one episode though, but it'd be like that. Only Murders in the Building.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
I've heard that's actually really fun, and I've been hearing like sound clips from that.
Yeah, so
that I didn't realize were from that.
I'm really interested in it. I sat down, watched the first episode after Erica got done watching Criminal Minds all day, because I was like, I need to watch something, but I don't know what I want to watch. I want to watch a movie. Wait, no, I want to watch this.
I do love me some Martin Short and Steve Martin together.
They are so good together.
They are.
I love it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching more of that. And they've got like 4 seasons
Selena Gomez?
Now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had caught bits and pieces of my roommate watching it. So I'll have to start it over because she was in like season 2 or 3 when I sat down. So
yeah. Maybe we could watch it together. That's a thing.
Yeah, it's really good. I've enjoyed it.
Movie night. Or just be like just like, okay, I'm gonna start this episode. You start this episode, and then we'll just text each other the whole time.
Yes.
What else?
That's kind of what happened today, actually, because one of my friends went to go see Deadpool and Wolverine, and I didn't realize that they hadn't seen it yet. So I was like, "Talk to me after the movie."
I don't think I have anything else.
I definitely don't have anything. How about else. Let me see. What about we'll see if
no trailers.
Trailers for anything upcoming.
No, I know that Alien Romulus is getting a lot of good reviews. A lot of people are saying it's getting a lot of good reviews, which is good because we need a good Alien movie.
Yeah, my co-DM gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, everybody says that's been pretty good. So that'll be something interesting we have to watch. Oh, the
Wicked,
Borderlands movie is tanking pretty hard. It has already been listed to go to streaming and digital pretty much in like a week or 2.
Oh, really?
And it just hit the theaters. It's tanking really, really bad.
Dang.
Yeah, which is sad because you could have had a really cool, movie out of that. So, but it's
That
not
might be
good.
something we have to watch just to find out.
Yeah. See how bad it is. Yeah, because I had someone go, "Why are you watching Furiosa, and why is it so bad?" And I said, "I need to do it for the stream. Got to review it." They were like, "I'm sorry." So, with that said, we don't have to stay around. We can go ahead and go to we're gonna do a raid and get everybody out of here. Other than that, guys, we really, really, really appreciate everybody listening and watching. Make sure you check us out on Wednesday, where we will be doing some more hanging out and painting. I'll be working on my Steamforged Crix Necrofractorium.
And I will probably be working on Scatter Terrain.
And I will be heckling y'all in the chat.
Yeah. So, other than that, we're going to send you off to Spark Minis. They're getting ready for Nova Open because it's opening in 2 weeks. Make sure if you go to Nova Open, you check out our friends at Tried and True. They've got some amazing War Machine tables. And they're some amazing people. So go make sure you say hi to them. Other than that, as always, people, make sure you take care of each other. Make sure you look after each other. If you see something, say something. And if you hear something, say something. If you can do something, do something. If you can't, find somebody that will, because we've got to look after each other. For More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm Nerd.
Now, Mizzy.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to More Than Dice, making the world a better, nerdier place, one dumb joke at a time. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more nerdy action or to connect with your hosts, check them out on Facebook.com/morethandice and Twitch.tv/more_than_dice. Until next time, stay nerdy, stay proud, and we'll see you soon on the More Than Dice podcast.